afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelly Anderson, and I'd like to welcome all of you to ISS Group's Business Process Improvement Demonstration titled Procurement in 2015 Will Require a Return on Investment. In the 30-minute presentation, my colleague Mike Markowitz will demonstrate how the 21st century organization uses our process digitization methodology along with our business process improvement solution called iPurchase. In this week's presentation, we will be focusing on efficiencies and costs associated with redundant data entry and time saved on searching through old data for previous purchase orders. Businesses must think of purchasing and procurement activities in terms of value, as you know. You must think of it in terms of value, in terms of efficiency, and overall return on their investment. Cost savings are a given, but to be a top performer, procurement staffs must generate many times the investment and cost of their supply management assets. And this is according to supplymanagement.com. To quote one of our iPurchase clients, Rushik Patel, an IT manager at MTF, he stated, quote, "We now have over 200 personnel using ISS Group's iPurchase systems. Implementing this digitized system has reduced errors, improved cycle time, and improved our relationship with our suppliers," unquote. And this can be found on the IS Group website under, it is client, it's under our clients, and you'll see snapshots of what our clients have had to say about our solutions. So Mike will now demonstrate just how iPurchase is a fast and effective way to improve your procurement process. Again, welcome to the Procurement in 2015 Return on Investment webinar. With that, I'll pass the controls over to Mike to begin the presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for giving the introduction to our demonstration today. I will be discussing 3 different points of integration between iPurchase and QAD or your ERP solution. I will discuss how these 3 integration points can help you save time within your organization and help you process purchase orders much more quickly and saves redundancy within your systems. So let's start by looking at an iPurchase screen, and we're going to actually start within the new rec. So this screen that everyone is seeing right now is the header information for a new requisition within iPurchase. So the first point of integration we're going to discuss is supplier or vendor. It depends on what naming convention you use within your organization. These names can be changed within iPurchase. These are just the out-of-the-box names. So we're going to start with supplier here, and if you notice, I will type in three either letters or numbers. I typed in the number 500, and you'll notice you get a list of all of the suppliers that have the supplier number with the 500 within it. These are all suppliers that are coming out of the QAD database or your ERP solution. These are not they're not in iPurchase. We do not store supplier/vendor information within iPurchase. This is an integration point with QAD. So I can search by putting the account number in. I can also search by using the supplier name. So if I use CDW for that matter, and I use the letters CDW, and I click on it, you'll notice that it adds the supplier number in for me. It does the supplier address. It would give me payment terms if it was set up. It gives me the supplier phone number, the contact, the email address, and it even gives me little icons here of supplier websites, their Facebook page, their LinkedIn page, their YouTube page, their actual website. This data is not, like I said earlier, not stored in iPurchase. So you can see how the user can gain some time by using this integration because they don't have to look and find each one of these different values for a supplier. They just add the supplier name and it automatically fills it in for you. So this reduces human error, obviously, and it saves the user plenty of time to do other things within your organization. Okay, this also allows you to to, ship to, bill to, site are all can be used by tables within QAD also. You could make a list within the system settings, but you can integrate it to your QAD tables. Now, this will save the administrator time by just using the tables within QAD. You will not have to key in redundant data, which will then make your implementation process much quicker. And again, reduces human error by entering this data into the ship to, the bill to, and the site. These all can be done. All these fields can also have comments added to the requisition automatically based on the ship to, bill to, or site. Again, another automated process within iPurchase to ease the use for each user or originator. So as you can see, this will definitely increase the time it takes, reduce the time it takes to create a requisition, to get it through an approval process, and to create a PO, which will then be sent to your supplier automatically. So all of this automated processes will help with the time it will take from beginning to end to create a requisition and to submit the PO, or to create the PO after the requisition has approved. Now, if we keep going and we save this requisition, okay, now I can go into my line items. But before we do that, one other thing I'd like to discuss is you have a buyer's field in the top right-hand corner of the header also. This buyer field can default based on the supplier. So once again, it will help the originator who is entering the requisition enter the correct values within the header information of a requisition. Once you submit this for approval, then the approvers will know that the data is correct in the top because it automatically gets placed by the system after the system settings are installed and the correct values are placed in each system setting. Now, when we go to the line item of a requisition, we click the new item button here, and this is our line item maintenance screen. So again, the item field, if I type in 3 characters again, you'll notice I get a list of items. These are items that are in the QAD item master table. So I can pick one of the items, and what you'll notice is that it gives me the cost. I would just have to add the quantity here. Once I add the quantity and hit save, you'll notice that it obviously totals the quantity for me. Totals the line item for me. What is nice about this, though, is I can also have the department, the account, and sub-account be defaulted based on a QAD vendor and the line item. So these fields that are on the line item can default dictated by the supplier and which line item you pick out of the item master in your QAD table. Item master table. Now, what this also saves is redundant data. So the user doesn't have to key this in. They just pick it from the list that I showed you, which was already put in by someone in your QAD system. So again, there's no keying in redundant data, which, like I said earlier, saves time for both the originators, the approvers, and the creation of a purchase order. So these are 2 ways that iPurchase is integrated with QAD. The last way that I'm going to show is a purchase order. And how purchase orders are stored in iPurchase is that they are actually integrated with QAD. They are not actually stored in iPurchase. You view them within iPurchase, but they're not stored in iPurchase. So let's go to Rec Inquiry, and let's remove the filter, excuse me, and let's go to Rec T0403758. And you'll notice that this rec has been approved, so everyone in the approval history has approve this requisition, but we're going to stick with the header information. And where we're going to stay for most of the rest of this demonstration is right here on the top here. So after a requisition is approved and a PO is created, you get a new line on the top here that says PO number, and it gives you the PO number that was created from this requisition. What you can also review from this requisition right here is the PO receipts. If anything came in off of the PO, you will see it within this requisition. So this gives a user the ability to search and find data about a purchase order within the one screen of iPurchase. You can see the value of how this can help a user without having to do a million clicks and searching within two systems. It definitely saves the user time to do inquiries within iPurchase. We're going to go back to the header information tab now, and we're going to discuss these icons that are listed right next to the PO. So you have your print icon here. So if I clicked on the print icon, it would download the PDF of the PO, which is right here. So this is what would download or open as a PDF on your computer based on if you're using a Mac or a PC. And then you can reprint purchase orders. So for a user in iPurchase, this has huge value because they can reprint this purchase order without going into QAD. This is huge in time saving. This all will work within this system, and which will allow your user to be able to do multiple things within a specific amount of time, which would probably save time than having to go into QAD, searching for the purchase order, and then reprinting it. This also gives you the ability to run what we call a purchase order print archive files, and it shows you the revisions of this purchase order number and the time and date stamps of when these revisions were done and what user did the revisions. Again, all functions within iPurchase. Again, the user does not have to leave the screen. And again, it saves much time about redundant data and how much time the user has to stay within the system. The user, an approver, an originator, a manager, anyone who has access to the system and has the security rights to see this data. If we go back and now if we click on, well, let me discuss this. This circle tells me if the PO is still open. It will change colors based on the different statuses of the purchase order. And then this check mark is a confirmation status. iPurchase gives you the ability to place a link on the bottom of a purchase order where you send the purchase order to the supplier/vendor. When you do this, the suppliers will click the link, and when the data comes back into iPurchase, that check mark will turn green, which will allow the user, originator, manager, or approver to know that the purchase order was received by the supplier. Another way of time savings, none of these people would have to pick up a telephone or send an email, look for the email address, and then send an email to the supplier. It all happens within iPurchase. And it all happens in an automated fashion, which saves a lot of time and which will be a huge return on investment. So the last icon we are going to discuss today is this icon called Purchase Order Inquiry. So if I click on here, you'll notice I come to a screen with a list of purchase orders here. Okay? The purchase order we're talking about is PO 2036. You'll notice that the bottom of the screen is blank. If I click on the shopping cart, it opens the bottom half of the screen and allows me to take a look at the line items on the purchase order. And again, I will say that these purchase orders are not stored here. We're just viewing them. So it gives you the ability to see the purchase order within iPurchase, which gives you much more time and less effort to find and see what's on a purchase order and if it's still open, instead of having, again, to use two different systems. You'll notice on the bottom it gives me how much was ordered, the quantity received, returned, invoiced, the cost of each one, what account, sub-account, department, and site was in each line item. It tells me that the status is still open. I can close the PO here if I'd like. I can also use I can print it again from here. I can do the PO archive, and I can use receipts against the purchase order. And this is all within iPurchase. I haven't left the system. I've never gone into QAD. This is all within iPurchase. What you can see, though, is that I have some search criteria across the top here. So I am searching for this PO because I came from the requisition. I don't have to search for this PO. I can clear the filter. And if I clear the filter, you'll notice I have many more POs. I have some now that are closed, some that are open. I have when the due date was. So, and then I have pages and pages and pages of POs within the system. Okay? And that's how you would scroll. This is the beginning and this is the end. But I don't only have to be able to search on purchase order number. I can search on supplier number. I can search on what buyers I have in here. So I believe buyer is a buyer in here. And if I hit apply filter, it will just show me the POs that this buyer was on the requisition for. This is how simple and easy it is for a user to work with the purchase order inquiry screens within iPurchase, which will then stop you from having to go into two systems and looking for all of this data. It's all wrapped within the iPurchase system. And as you can tell, when you have this integration between these two systems, the human error is almost minimal, because now the user isn't blankly typing into fields of what they think should be in the fields. They are actually using the same data that's already integrated with QAD. I don't know how many of my customers have said to me that this has saved them multiple time and effort because of all the integration points within iPurchase to QAD. Now, these are the three most biggest integration points between the two systems, but there are other integration points that we are not going to show within this weekly demonstration today. So all of this integration comes out of the box once you implement the iPurchase solution. And on that note, I am going to pass this demonstration back to Kelly so she can give us some more comments about the integration and the return on investment that iPurchase can give you as a customer of ISS Group.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Kelly?
Thanks, Mike. As Mike mentioned in the demonstration and explained, iPurchase reads the QAD supplier master table in real time, the item master table, the item master table in real time, as well as writes to the QAD purchase order table in real time. This eliminates the need for redundant data entry, which was reiterated many times in this webinar. This in turn reduces human error, improving efficiency, and it greatly enhances productivity, as you can see. Master file data is maintained in one place, and that place is your QAD ERP. iPurchase not only works with QAD, although it can work with any ERP solution that can be integrated with iPurchase to allow a user to create a purchase order in their ERP solution after a request is approved. So with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information, as you can see, is kanderson@issgroup.net. You can reach us through the website at www.issgroup.com, or you can contact me by phone or text message me at 267-234-4737. I'd love to hear from you. With that, I thank you all for viewing our webinar this afternoon and hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to say thank you too for attending our demonstration of iPurchase and the integration points between iPurchase and QAD. I hope you all have a great afternoon, and thank you for attending our weekly demonstration.